Buzz 716. With us today, Dr. Shawn Hasley and Sandra. I'm sorry, no, it's Dr. Shawn Hasley. I am getting this all wrong, Doctor. Dr. Shawn Hasley and Sandra Hasley. And Sandra is the clinic director. And you have founded Buffalo ChiroThin. Welcome, welcome to the Daily Buzz. So we're here today to talk with you about the obesity problem that is just, it's like epidemic in our society today. And we really kind of want to start with the basics. How severe truly really is this obesity problem? Is this as bad as we think?
It's really bad. America is the #1 country in the world for the highest obesity ranking. New Zealand is 7% below them. Obesity pretty much leads to every disease we can possibly think of, and it's just increasing by 2020. It's going to be close to 75%.
75% of American population?
Yeah.
75% of people will simply be obese.
So it's climbing every year.
Startling.
What does that mean?
The obesity, the word obesity is, you know, a lot of people hear the word obesity and they think you have to be gigantic to fall into that category. You don't. Medically speaking, you know, it's based on your BMI. So whatever your BMI is, when it's within a certain range, you're classified as either overweight, obesity class 1, class 2, or class 3, which is also known as morbid obesity. And so it depends on factors like age, weight, height, gender, but you'd be surprised, you know, it doesn't take too much weight to become obese based on your stature and who you're talking to, but it does, if you are falling into that category, it means you're very high risk for disease.
Why do you think this has happened? Why is this going to be 75%? What is going on here?
There's a lot of contributing factors, such as, first of all, Americans have been given I don't want to call it propaganda, but it's misinformed teachings about, like, our food pyramid, for instance. The heavy grain at the bottom of that pyramid. Biologically, it's unnecessary for us to eat grain. The only thing it does is give us calories for energy, but we can get that through protein, fruit, vegetables. Dairy is another one. You don't need it biologically.
So is that all carbohydrate is what you're talking about?
Carbohydrates are also fruits and vegetables, but when we're talking about grains, breads, pastas, things like that, that and dairy are both biologically unnecessary for us to perform properly as a human.
Wow.
And both are very inflammatory, so they cause a lot of problems.
But I
know.
Yeah, that's been on that food pyramid since we were in grade school.
We've relied on it, so that's one issue.
Right.
Another misinformed, right? And so another issue is high stress, higher paced living, faster paced living, medications, fast food services, to-go snacks that are packaged for convenience.
Yep.
A lot of convenient services like apps and technology that make life easier, but they actually lend to more stress and lack of sleep. All of these medications, they compound themselves, and it leads to this huge overblown factor, and we just need to kind of bring it back to basics for people.
So how does ChiroThin, what is the program that it basically
Can you speak to that?
ChiroThin is a
Chiro. I do need Chiro. I made you into a mystery, I think.
It's really cool. It's all anti-inflammatory, low glycemic index diet, and it's supervised. So this is doctor supervised for 9 weeks. You have 6 weeks of losing, and these are all foods that we're meant to eat: lean proteins, vegetables, and carbohydrates. You can have you know, unlimited vegetables like a salad, and basically you're taking a homeopathic blend of amino acids and certain other minerals that go underneath the tongue, and they stimulate a part of your brain called the diencephalon to go after visceral fat. So you're burning the fat that pretty much wraps around your organs first, and that's why it's so effective, and people lose so quickly in a healthy state under supervision. They learn to keep it off.
How do you know all this?
Yeah, tell us, what's your background?
Like,
obviously, you know what you're talking about. I mean, it's very clear that you're both very educated in this, but so what brought you to this?
Well, I was always that weird little boy that always would research food supplements, how fitness. I
That
am
might
a
have made you not too popular in school.
Well, yeah.
Maybe he didn't
Do you want to
share.
come over to my house and we'll put together a food pyramid?
He's like 6'2". He's like 6'2", and he just
Yeah.
said I was a little boy.
Yeah.
We don't believe you. Don't believe you.
No, I am a chiropractor, but I do have a passion for nutrition and getting a person to a healthy BMI, because that solves not only the back pain part of it, but so many other conditions that people are dying from every single
Sean,
day.
do you use chiropractic in this ChiroThin? ChiroThin?
It's not part of the program, but I
You can.
Yeah, you can. For certain conditions, I mean, digestion, the adjustments free
Yeah.
up certain nerve areas
I'm a
that control
big
that.
believer in chiropractic.
You started to say something,
Yeah, I was
Sandra.
going to say that chiropractors in school have an enormous amount of hours of nutrition to begin with, and
Right.
they're the most educated of the physicians, like the field of physicians, the most educated with nutrition. So a lot of people, like we get a lot of MD referrals for the program in order to get people off of their medication or at least down. And they refer to us because they have the background in it.
It's very interesting to me that you've both now mentioned medication in relation to weight. Can you talk about that for a little bit with us?
A lot of the medication will not only disturb the gut bacteria, which prohibits the body from digesting properly and using the nutrients that you need, and allowing your body to burn fat rather than store fat. A lot of the medications will affect your adrenal glands, which are responsible for fat burning versus storage and stress output, fight or flight response, right? Like you talked about earlier. And when that stuff is not working right because of medications, it's nearly impossible for somebody to be able to lose weight.
Oh no.
Well, there are many other medications that do different things that slow things down, but those are two of the big ones.
Yeah.
And we should also be aware when we take medications and you see like the advertisement on television, they have that super speed, this may cause,
Yeah.
slow it down, because there are medications that your doctor can prescribe that serve the same purpose.
Yes.
And you're talking about a doctor. So
Yeah.
we're talking about doctors and diets. You got to go to the doctor, right, before you start a diet? Yes,
So
maybe?
And this is the doctor,
ChiroThin for
so-
everyone?
Pardon?
Is it for everyone?
Yeah, it actually is. There's no contraindications, meaning nothing that you're taking for medicine that will get in the way of the program working for you.
Is there anything, if you have an existing illness or anything, is this going to help everyone?
Only active cancer patients cannot do the program. Their body needs everything that they're currently using to be
Okay.
able to fight the
But
cancer.
you mentioned, and back to the illnesses, that this has a lot to do, obesity has a lot to do with other illnesses. It either leads to it or is caused by it.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Sandra.
Oh, I didn't know if there was a question attached.
Yes, like what? Like what
terms-
illnesses?
Strokes, heart disease, diabetes,
Fatty liver,
fatty liver, cancer issues, gallbladder issues, kidney stone issues.
depression.
Yeah. So
These are
Why?
people that shouldn't?
Oh my goodness.
No, that's what obesity
Yeah.
causes.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Why do people fail so often? Why are diets so difficult to adhere to and to be successful with and to last beyond, say, even a year? What's the problem?
when you have the wrong approach to weight loss, like a lot of people will go think that exercise is the best way. Your body actually physically rejects exercise as a weight loss mechanism. It's not for that, period. Nope. Exercise is fantastic. We're pro-exercise. It's for circulation, it's for organ function, brain health, lungs, heart. It's not for weight loss. Our body refuses, and so you can do it. It takes longer, and the second you stop, you're gaining it right back.
So you don't have weight loss is a part of the mix of your program?
We don't have exercise as part of the mix.
That's
no.
what I meant.
Yeah.
Sandra,
Yeah.
Sandra.
Yeah,
Tomato,
Oh my
tomato, what are we
gosh.
going to do?
Right, which is why everybody
my
thinks
gosh.
exercise is the way,
Sure.
right?
But they do tell you that,
They do
yes.
tell you that. And it also, another thing exercise does, it's a healthy one, but it's a stress. So it causes attacks on your adrenal glands, which is telling you store fat, slow down, increase appetite. You don't burn as much as you want to, and you only burn short term, depending on what you're doing. A lot of people go hard on cardio, they start burning muscle instead of fat. So, if you look at a picture between a marathoner and a sprinter is going to be jacked, and a marathoner looks
Lean.
extremely sick.
Yeah.
So, Not always, sorry marathoners, but not always. But you know, if you looked at a picture in Google or
They're
something.
skinny.
Yeah.
They're skinny.
Yeah.
They're
So their
skinny
muscles
folks.
depleting. And so that's the other thing. The motivation is very high with ChiroThin because you lose so much so quickly, it's easy to stay on track. And it's for 6 weeks. You do that, we help you through the maintenance so that you
These
can keep it
pictures are
off.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're wonderful.
Oh,
Well,
wow, look
listen,
at
thank
these
you
before and
so much for coming on. This is
Really great.
We learned some really startling things from you today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're giving us hope.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that we don't have to live this way. We don't have to be obese. There are better ways to take care of ourselves and, of course, then in turn our health. So thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Sean. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you.
And so if you have questions, Buffalo ChiroThin, they can help you out. They can help you be healthy and they can help you be skinny, but the good skinny. So stay with us. Next, we have an author from Portland, Maine. Welcome back to the Daily Buzz 716. We would like to welcome author Miss Robin Wiley. Hello, and Robin is here to share with us so much information about her trip to Western New York, and we're going to talk about her new book, My Happy Book, a guided journal to light up your life. Welcome, Robin.
Welcome all the way from
Portland, Maine.
Portland.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Oh, it's so wonderful to have you. You know, I spent some time on your website, and your website is just, it's like a breath of fresh air. Your approach to everything that I saw on your website was just so pleasant and so light. So
Good.
talk to us about that, because you do have this sunshiny approach to life. So welcome to Buffalo, and tell us about your background.
All right. Well, so nowadays I do have a pretty sunshiny approach to life, but it always hasn't been that way. You know, growing up, I was a really shy, insecure kid, had zero self-confidence, incredibly self-conscious, always comparing myself to other people, never feeling like I was good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, you name it. And, you know, that just destroys your self-esteem when you think thoughts like that. And it wasn't until age 19 or 20 when I was a sophomore at UNH when I had some life epiphanies and I started to realize that, you know, my thoughts were really a big cause of my inner turmoil. And so I actually ended up deciding to take some time off from school and really figure myself out, figure out who I was and what I wanted, because I'd never done that before. I was also a perpetual people pleaser, you know, always trying to impress people, always trying to gain the approval of other people, trying to live up to expectations, but I'd never really lived for myself or even asked myself, what do I want? What makes me happy? And as I started to do that, and as I started to uncover some of the negative beliefs that had been keeping me stuck in unhappiness, I started to, I guess you could say, find the keys to happiness, right? And I started doing new things, started meditating, spending time in nature, a whole lot of journaling, and asking myself really key questions that I'd never asked before. What makes me happy? Who am I at my core? Who am I beyond my thoughts? Who am I beyond my appearance? Beyond what other people think about me? And it was just such a powerful, eye-opening experience, and you know, the more that I stayed on that path, the better and better I felt, and the more I felt like, okay, I have these tools that work for me. How can I share these with other people to help other people who have struggled how I have?
Did you take people on your journey with you? I mean, you know, you have this circle of friends who either feed you or take. And the ones that fed you, were you able to take them along and share your renewed self on your journey?
Yeah, actually not really. The first
Sometimes you have to
3,
clean
4
house.
years that I was on this journey, nobody that was in my life at the time really got it. They sort of thought I was crazy. They're like, what are you doing making a big deal out of your thoughts and spending all this time meditating and journaling? Like, that's weird. Come drink with us, you know, and that's how I'd always operated in the past, but it just wasn't, I realized that that behavior wasn't serving me anymore. So I had to step away from those friendships, which was really hard because I didn't have like an instant slew of new friends. And I would occasionally like go to like what seemed to be a positive event, but I would find that like I was the youngest by far, like by 40, 50 years. So like I'd make some connections, but I wasn't like making friends I could regularly hang out with. So it was very isolating those first few years, but fortunately.
You are also educated, you know, you're an educated woman. These aren't things that you're just kind of, oh, this is what I think. You have a degree in philosophy, and you've studied under Tony Robbins.
Yeah. I'm actually in the tail end of one of his coaching programs.
And you'll be, this gives you certain certifications as a life coach?
Yes, so I've already received a different certification, but I just wanted to go
continue
get
your
some more.
education.
Yeah,
right.
because,
But
you know,
it's
Tony,
important for
he's
people to know that
amazing.
this isn't just something that you sat down and, well, I think this will work, but you've actually studied and continue to study.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Now,
Penny, what were you
somehow
saying?
this ended up in a book?
Yes. So yeah, you could say the first, seeds were planted for this book when I was about 20, 21 years old, just really getting into journaling myself and realizing, wow, I think these questions would not only be powerful for me, but probably a lot of other people. But it just wasn't the right time for me. It sort of just stayed in the back of my mind. It wasn't until about a year and a half ago that I felt re-inspired and thought, you know what, it's time that I make this into a book. I've been working with clients for a few years now. I do a lot of classes. People could benefit from having something they can take home with them at the end of a class or session, so I'm not just always
things
scrolling down on
tangible.
a piece of paper like, here, answer this.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
This is just so reaffirming. It's so positive, and anyone can. It's not a textbook or a book that we have to fill in all the pages. We can read and give us. It's the conversation starter.
And you have a number of events coming up here while you're in town, and
Yes.
we want to encourage people to go to your website to look into the times and places of those events. But let's take a minute and talk about what you're doing while you're here.
All right. Well, so tomorrow the first event is from 12 to 2 at Hilbert College. It's going to be a presentation called How to Be Happy and Be Yourself.
Nice.
So I'll be sharing 3 of what I believe are 3 of the major roots of unhappiness, not only in my life, but in the wider culture. And then I'll be sharing some tools how to overcome each of those hurdles to our happiness. And then the second event tomorrow is at the Unity Church of Buffalo from 6 to 9 p.m. And I'm actually co-leading that with resident John Massalinas. And that event is called Happiness Lies Within. So I'm extra excited for that one. That one is, we're going to be sharing part of our personal stories, how we've come from unhappiness and unfulfilled living to a much happier, more centered, fulfilled place. And it's actually going to benefit people in Puerto Rico who have been affected by Hurricane Katrina. A large amount of the proceeds are going to go to help the relief there. Yeah.
Can I ask you I guess it's kind of an odd question and maybe very hard to answer. Why are we as a population and as a country, why do we seem to be so unhappy? We have so much. Why are people so unhappy?
I think the simplest answer to that would be that we live up here and we don't live here. We are born into this world just totally connected to the love within us, totally connected to our core self. And then starting at age 2, 3, 4, the social conditioning kicks in. We're taught that, you can't show your feelings in this way or that way. You should act this way. This is how you should be. This is what you should do. So we're kind of taught to be other than what we are. We're also, this is a very masculine, left-brained, dominant society. So it's all about thinking and logic, not so much about intuition and feeling.
You mentioned before that women always want to please, that they want to do things for others rather than think about themselves. And how is that one of the reasons that you think women are unhappy and need to get out of that syndrome?
Yeah, I do see that time and time again with women who I've worked with as clients, my friends, women in classes. Yeah, I think more than men, we do tend to take on the message that it's our job to be liked by everyone. It's our job to please everyone. And that's exhausting. If you try to please everyone, be liked by everyone, it's impossible to be yourself. You're just always
One of
trying
my
to
favorite quotes is, "You can't please everyone. You're not pizza."
That's good, Mary Kay.
I'm going to start sharing those
t-shirts
Very
online.
good.
You can find
And
more about your
only-
things at
we only-
robinwiley.com, right?
We only have a
Yes.
minute. We only have 1 minute left. We
Okay.
just real quick. You have an author talk and book signing on Saturday evening.
That's right, at Dawnfire Sanctuary, Saturday evening at 6:30. Yes.
Okay, and website. You've got to give us your website once.
It's www.robintwiley.com. It's Robin with a Y, Twiley, like
You
the
ask
coyote.
why, you'll know when you go to the website.
That's right. Thank you so much, Robin. It's so great that you're here in Western New York. Anything that's uplifting, you know, we love it. We love it.
Thanks
so
for sharing with us.
we're
You're
going to
awesome.
take a break, but when we come back, it's Irving Berlin's America at O'Connell and Company. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Daily Buzz 716. We are welcoming Drew McCabe, who is the director of Irving Berlin's America at O'Connell and Company. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I think you know Mary Kate.
What a good,
Sort of.
what a great company.
You look familiar.
Yeah,
we
I
know each
sometimes,
other.
yeah.
Mary
It's-
Kate, who chose this musical? Did Drew choose this or did you choose this?
I chose this out of a passion that I have had, a lifelong passion for Irving Berlin. His music, his story, his contributions to the welfare of lyricists and composers. He founded ASCAP, and just a legendary performer. And Joey Buhecker and Matt Mooney, and I think we looked it up online and found this story that's not not just a review.
And he has a Buffalo connection.
He does. His first wife was
from
from Buffalo.
That first picture that we showed,
Yeah.
did you see the piano
Yes.
behind him?
Yeah.
I have that piano in my living room.
Well, that's
Really?
And there you have it. So I'm pretty sure the Da Vinci is in your house. I own it.
But I don't think Irving Berlin is.
I think we will be rehearsing at your house tonight.
I need that picture.
So, I almost want to interview you now. So you got the piano.
But
So tell us
Drew,
about the piano.
But Drew, when I took you, when I gave you the project to consider, your response was 1 minute later. I said, would you
Yeah.
tell me
What
why?
appealed to you?
So the script was sent over, and I started reading through the script, and I just connected with the piece. I do like Irving Berlin a lot as
I should
a
hope
composer.
so.
Well, you know, I say that because I don't think a lot of millennial generation
younger
people
people.
realize
Right,
sure you're
right.
how much
Connect
ingrained
to
in
it.
culture is.
Right.
But
Yes.
you know, so like example, all those years I was watching Rankin and Bass Christmas specials, and like you're singing along, you don't realize like a good chunk of it is just music
right.
licensed from him,
Irving
right?
Berlin,
So
yes.
it really is ingrained in every American generation throughout all of American culture. And I just thought it was a really fascinating piece, and going through it, and he tells his life story. Like Mary Kate said, it's not just a review, it's a play with music that tells his entire life, and it was just done very charmingly.
So it's a great way to actually learn a lot about this wonderful composer.
You learn a lot.
sounds
It takes
great.
place, I don't think I'm doing any spoiling here, but it takes place on the last night of Irving Berlin's life.
Ooh, that's kind of sad.
He died at 101.
Ooh, that's not sad.
But but it takes place, and it's in his apartment in New York City with Irving Berlin and another person, and it's up to the audience to decide: is this a guy down the street? Is this a fan? Is this a reporter? Is this the angel of death? Is this a young Irving Berlin? But the chemistry between Billy Group, who is playing Irving Berlin, who I'm sure is thrilled I called him Billy, Bill Group, and Matthew Mooney is just exquisite as this young companion. Sue Shaw is, of course, doing all the music for it, and it's just, and Kate Bauman, right, is your choreographer.
Is the choreography,
and she's
correct,
just
yeah.
adorable. Lots of tap dancing, lots of
really?
singing.
Yes.
Is it
What are some of the-
challenging? Is it challenging to do something like a show like this where people, you know, the
Tap
the
dance.
music
Ay,
and tap
ay, ay.
dancing and all that's involved?
Well, I think a show like this, and you can jump in here, Drew, I think the show like this is that people don't have a ready recollection or visual of Irving Berlin except for photos. So when you see this icon come to life, it's
Yeah,
kind of magical.
It
and
brings just a different layer
yeah.
to it because you know he very rarely performed his own songs himself, so he's the mastermind
In real
behind
life,
it.
you mean he didn't?
He did perform in a few Broadway
Oh,
shows
how I
himself.
hate to get up in the morning.
Yes,
he
but-
sang at the piano.
Yes,
Yeah, it was,
but he wasn't well known, and later on in life he became quite reclusive.
yeah.
So,
But he was words and music, and that's something to remember. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the Cole Porters and the Noel Cowards. They words and music by Irving Berlin, and the iconic songs besides White Christmas are Alexander's Ragtime Band and
the Easter Parade.
the Easter Parade.
So magical.
Just beautiful,
Well,
beautiful
he is
stuff.
known as a very patriotic. His songs, his whole life was very patriotic.
Very
You're right.
Americana.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
He was the darling of World War II entertainment for the troops,
Yeah.
and
And the piece actually goes into him coming over as an immigrant from Russia, and it starts out why he loves America
Yeah.
and why it becomes his America, and it grows on him, and he does talk about his patriotism and such, and how much love he has.
What were some of the challenges that you faced in directing this piece?
I think the main challenge was kind of figuring out not really what makes him tick, because the playwright lays a lot of that out there, but just filling in the gaps, right? When you have a 2-act play on someone's life, they kind of take the highlights of the life or just like the juicy tidbits, right? So just digging through and getting enough research, especially later in life, because he was more reclusive and he didn't come out of his house really ever, just to fill in the blanks for myself and help take the actors on the journey.
And the
That's
entire
probably the
show
biggest.
takes place in his apartment?
right.
And his
That's
his
got to be
house in New York,
challenging
yeah.
as a director, that the entire show is going to take place in one very small location.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, we make wonderful use of the stage and the different segments, but it's not,
Little
traveling
whimsy,
the
a little
world.
magic. Yeah. But I think that this show is really perfect for the holiday segment of our season, because it's really touches to everyone. It's not Christmas-y and something really specific. We open November 30th and run through. So when you're making your plans for at Thanksgiving dinner with your family, we run through December 17th. And the beautiful logo that you saw for Irving Berlin, which was the flag, was actually part of our series that was designed by Gail Petrie, who happens to be Kim's daughter. And Gail has designed all of the artwork for our season logos, which I'm thrilled in the mode of Peter Max.
Yep.
I have to say, last night at Diva, when I mentioned about the show and I told them about the show, the whole audience went, oh, it's like, and getting a lot of inquiries on it today.
And now this week, though, you still have Painting Churches.
Painting Churches.
And it is Theater Thursday, Mary Kate O'Connell.
Oh, that's right. Well, okay, let's give away tickets.
Yay! Okay, so Mary Kate O'Connell is going to give away tickets to O'Connell and Company's Painting Churches. And how many tickets are you going to give away, Mary Kate O'Connell?
Let's give away 5.
5 pairs?
sets.
5 pairs of tickets. So call WBBZ-TV, and 5 of you will get 2 tickets to Painting Churches at O'Connell and Company at the Park School. You can't beat that, Mary Kate.
No, it's an absolutely exquisite.
Can I call for the tickets?
Yeah, no.
Oh, it doesn't work that way.
We do have to have some standards. There are some standards at the theater. I do want to mention last night at Diva, because I brought it up. An old friend of John DeShulos was in the audience last night. She said, make sure you say hello, and hello, Sharon Kohler. So she watches the show, thrilled she does.
Hi, Sharon.
Yep. So
Well, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to have a special treat for you, a live performance from the new Irving Berlin show, America. So stay with us. Welcome back to the Daily Buzz 716. Next, we have Susan Shaw on the piano, the musical director of Irving Berlin's America. Performing for us will be Matthew Mooney, and who is an actor in Irving Berlin's America. He will be singing A Pretty Girl, which is in 1919 became the theme song of the Ziegfeld Follies. Take it away, Matthew.
A pretty girl is like a melody that haunts you night and day, just like the strain of a haunting refrain. She'll start upon a marathon and run around your brain. You can't escape. She's in your memory by morning, night, and noon. She will leave you and then come back again. A pretty girl is just like a pretty tune.
That was lovely. So
yeah.
it'll be an evening of more of that.
Yeah. It's just
Remind me again what role that Matthew is playing?
everyone else. Irving Berlin is Bill Group, and Matthew is
Matthew's
everyone
Jack.
else. Chip is Jack.
Yep.
But it's what's kind of fun. Why don't you just share for a moment of how we've connected with the author?
Oh yeah, so we've connected with the author, sorry, tongue-tied. It's making me nervous, guys. I'm usually not on TV.
It's Rosie, she does that.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I'm a dog whisperer, secretly,
Yeah, she is.
so this is okay.
That's not creepy.
But Chip DeFafa
yes,
is
we
the author
connected
of
on
Irving
Facebook.
Berlin,
Yep.
and he friended me. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I immediately had him friend Drew.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
he's been a fantastic resource to connect with and pick
So
his
you've
brain
actually,
and-
while you're directing the show, while you're producing the
Yeah.
show, you've had the opportunity to go back and forth with the author.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's done a mention of us on Theater Talk or the Broadway.com,
Yep.
BroadwayWorld.com. He's saying, oh, there's going to be a great production of Irving Berlin's America in Buffalo, New York, and it's great. Anytime that we can sort of think this way out of our box and get the news out for how awesome Buffalo theater is.
Is he in New York or?
He's in New York. He's also written a show similar to this setup about Fanny Bryce.
Correct, yes.
And
That would be exciting.
He's also has a new show opening called Irving Berlin Alone or something. It's like it's a solo show about Irving Berlin. I just love that everything old is new again. You know, it's sort of splendid that way.
Yes.
But it's a great way to spend, the holidays, the kids are home. Gift them with the gift of theater.
Absolutely.
If it's our friends at Alleyway, which is coming up soon with the Christmas Carol, or O'Connell and Company, and it's just a really lovely
such a
gift because you're
family
giving them,
do-together.
as Matthew's saying, a memory.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes. Well, we have to go to commercial. We have to go to break. We want to thank you so much. We want to thank you, Susan. We want to thank you, Matthew. That was beautiful. Drew, thank you for being here with us. Stay with us, and we're going to wrap the show up in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Daily Buzz 716. Thank you for being with us this morning. And thank you again to all of our guests and to Matthew for his beautiful rendition of A Pretty Girl, Irving Berlin's A Pretty Girl. And real quick, we've got to look at Rosie. Rosie has a new outfit on today. It's an emoji. It's so cute. There
this
she
is from Aunt Kim.
Our Rosie. We know
This
you
is
love.
actually, is this a self-portrait, Kim?
That is. Yep.
That's lovely.
That is.
There we go.
Lesson learned.
It's great. It's so fun. I have, and I know all of us have. So many people have come up to us, and they love the show.
Well, but Rosie's the superstar of the show.
She is the superstar of the show. I had women coming into Diva
Forget
last
us.
night saying, "Is Rosie here?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the
Yeah,
Rosie.
it
I
is.
know.
It is, and that's great.
Kids and animals. Well,
Give-
anyway,
give the
thank
love,
you.
folks.
Thank you so much for
Thanks, Drew.
watching. Thank you for watching WBBZ. And you know, we have plenty of room for a live studio audience. Really? And we would love for you to come down to our studio and be a part of our audience and be a part of our show. Please like us on Facebook.
Please like us.
And we're encouraging your comments. If there's anything or anyone you'd like to see on our show, go to Facebook and send us a message, and we'll do the best we can. Talk to us on Twitter, Facebook, and what am I forgetting? Instagram as well. Thanks for watching WBBZ-TV. Have a lovely Thursday afternoon.
Well, they can call you at home, right?
There's that too.
Get your phone number.
Rosie's already sleeping. She's bored.
You must be good.
Everything's coming up, Rosie.
Every night.
Rose.
Like, I think we've only had like
Look at her.
two nights off.
Look at her stealing the show.
nonstop.
I know.
Start from month.
So it's really a two-person show.
She's a very good
Oh
girl.
my gosh, that's a lot of responsibility.
Just